Probably some of you have heard the word Dharma. Can we turn one of those off? Is that all right? Thanks. Quite a lot of people have heard of the word Dharma. It's used often in Buddhist teaching. And in the Vedas, it's described a term Sanatan Dharma. Dharma sometimes is translated as your path. And in the Vedas, they don't talk about religion. They talk about Sanatan Dharma, your eternal essence, your eternal function, your Dharma, what you should be doing eternally, or what we, as an individual, our spiritual nature is to be in Sanatan Dharma, eternally in a loving relationship with God. And when people talk about religion, like sometimes people come to a class, or they, whether it's a meditation program, and it's like, oh, this is not religious, is it? Religion's got such a bad name, right? This is not religious, is that? I don't want to join anything. I'm not interested in God. I just want meditation. And people's general idea of meditation is I'm going to sit and I'm going to not have any thoughts in my mind. I'm just going to have complete peace. But then that's not the nature of the mind, and it's not nature of the soul. The soul is active by nature. Our mind is extremely active by nature. It does not stop 24/7. There's an old song. You take the weather wherever you go, right? You take the weather. It's a really old song. But anyway, in other words, whatever you're going through, you're going to take it. You go on holiday, it's like, wow, it's like, a nice beach or a pool, or, your hike or whatever, but your mind is there to give you a bit of a hard time. Sometimes teachers, it's kind of like holidays, it's like, just look forward to the holidays, and then the first week, right, is just like de-stressing, and the second week is mentally preparing for when you go back to work. Is that we get a lot of nurses and a lot of teachers come to meditation because their jobs are really stressful. But so when we think of meditation, it's usually not chanting meditation, Kirtan meditation. But this process is an eternal process. It's not like some religion that just started, 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago. Now, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, but he also said that he spoke it millions of years ago to the sun god Vivishvan. And the Vedas, the teachings in the Vedas have been handed down since time immemorial. And the teaching is that you are an eternal spiritual being, and your natural function, my natural function, is to render loving service to God. And whether you follow one religious path, one spiritual path or another, if that's the essence of that path, then there's no difference, right? There's no difference. It's not like my religion, your religion, my faith, your faith, whatever. It's not like Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever it might be. It's like our eternal nature. As a spiritual being, we have an eternal nature, and our eternal nature is to be active. And that activity and perfection is a loving service, loving relationship with the Supreme Soul, and seeing everyone as part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. So you naturally want to love and serve them in some way. And that is the purpose of life, to come to know our true nature and to practice loving service to God. And the process of mantra meditation, Kirtan meditation, is to uncover what is already there. That Sanatan Dharma is already there in the core of our heart. It just needs to be uncovered. So it's nothing to do with joining a particular religion. There's no religion to join. A religion, in the West usually means something that you can adopt and you can drop. So you might, you might have been raised as a Catholic, and somewhere in your life you decide, I don't want to be a Catholic, or whatever particular religion it might be. Or you may have been brought up as an atheist and then decide I want to be a Christian, whatever. It's something that you can take on and you can drop off. But Sanatan Dharma is completely different. It's your essence, no matter what. No matter what label, no matter what you're doing in life, your essence is an eternal, loving, spiritual being, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. And so the meditation is to help uncover that. It's not like if I can sit and blank my mind, which is actually not possible just because of the nature of the mind. If I could do that, it's still not going to change my heart. You may get some insights, that's why people like to sit in quiet. You go to the countryside or the beach or somewhere and just sit peacefully and just try and be contemplative, sort of be reflective in your life. It's super important to do that, to be reflective, to be thoughtful. But it's not, we need something that's going to purify those layers of conditioning from our heart and mind. And all names of the Supreme Soul in every spiritual path have the potency of God to purify our heart and mind. It's not my names of God, your names of God, or your truth, my truth. It's nothing to do with my opinions, someone else's opinions. It's what God says. And so whether I agree with it or don't agree with it is irrelevant. I'm just a little ant on this planet. I can go, I don't believe that. It's like my beliefs don't count. There's a reality of us being a spiritual being. And so when we practice our meditation, it's really wonderful to actually, at the beginning to stop and reflect, my God, like this shell is not me, I'm actually a happy spiritual being inside, deep inside, in the core of our heart. We're a happy spiritual being, full of love, full of compassion, full of kindness and care. So whenever we see that that's not manifesting in ourselves or others, then it's just like, oh, that's actually not me. That's not the real me, And then we can get back to remembering, okay, I'm a spiritual being. This is just a temporary situation. We're going to be faced with all sorts of challenges, all sorts of opportunities to grow spiritually. That's what all the yucky things are for. all the challenges in life give us an opportunity to grow spiritually. And so, don't kind of go, oh, look, God, I just really want a peaceful life. I don't want anything to go wrong. That actually doesn't help us spiritually at all. That just kind of lulls us into, kind of false security. And that can be, changed any moment. Just like me biking to class a couple of weeks ago, just biking along, down 7th Avenue, tree-lined streets, all nice and peaceful, bam, over the handlebars. Not peaceful anymore. Just smash, any moment our life can change, So we should take the opportunity to rest our heart and mind in these sacred mantras. Early in the morning's a super good time. It is more peaceful. And in the evening, we're inclined to fill our mind with so much stuff. Like there's, it's an age of information overload, big time. And so, Govinda read something the other day. What was it? Do you remember what that little quote was about, I can't sleep, but I think if I scroll, do you remember what it was?
Something like, maybe if I put this brightly lit device in front of my face and scroll through the whole world of information for 15 minutes, then I'll be able to go to sleep.
Okay. So I thought it was pretty funny. It's like the thing we're told not to do, But, you know, if you can't get to sleep, what do people usually do? Is like grab their phone and just put more info in there to make it so you're more stimulated instead of more restful. So, you know, it's a really good time. If you can't sleep, it's a good time to chant, or at least, you know, just take the opportunity. It's like, wow, it's really peaceful. I can be contemplative, I can be reflective. I don't need to be afraid. You know, we should always have a healthy dose of skepticism when we're hearing somebody speak, or when we're reading something, you know, you're watching something. We should be a little skeptical. We don't know what people's motives are. And, you know, we don't want to be exploited. We don't want to be taken down a wrong path. We don't want to be misled in any way. So, you know, taking time out to be reflective and thoughtful, and definitely time out for meditation, will completely transform our life. Namaste. Thank you.